Watching people cry on Twitter is just hilarious, man. Like, they are so mad at David Zaslav right now for just basically trying to do his job and save Warner Brothers and, you know, keep the company going that, you know, they can't even see straight, you know. And, you know, a lot of these people don't give a damn about the business part because they don't care. They're not business people. They're not business oriented. They don't know the first thing about running a business. All they know is, oh, give me my favorite things, you know, and I don't really care about anything else. Just give me my favorite things, you know. This person's saying that Bob Chapek must be laughing his ass off right now. See even David Zaslav ruining the WB brand. I'll be pushing and pressuring the WB board to fire him right now if I were the shareholders and investors. I think the shareholders and investors are probably cheering this guy on right now. They probably are high-fiving in the back room. Yes, more, please fight, get rid of more of this stuff, okay? Because if you've been hanging on to WB stock for any, amount of time, if you're a shareholder or an investor and you've been hanging on to WB stock, you automatically know that this company has been mismanaged for years, for decades, for at least the last 2 decades, I would say. This has been a horribly mismanaged company, in terms of everything. As a DC fan, trust me, I know how bad this thing has been, right? But the crazy thing is it so much that people are mad? Because I get the being mad part. It's the crazy allegations that they're coming out with. Like, read this person. Zaslav isn't exactly making himself look great either, especially with allegations of racism and anti-LGBTQ+. He and Warner Brothers in general were warned that pulling this crap at the top of the hat would break people's trust. And this guy kind of explains it, right? Like, Zaslav's been getting a lot of blame for the internet, but he's between a rock and a hard place. He inherited a company that was fiscally mismanaged for decades and tens of billions in debt. He promised investors he'd fix this mess when he took over. Now we'll have to see how deep the cuts go. Yeah, let me show you guys this. Now, this article here is from the New York Times talking about, like, Warner Brothers is going to have some kind of free streaming service. But here's the important part right here. Right? The executives at Warner Brothers have major challenges ahead. The company was saddled with $55 billion in debt when it went public in April, the result of a spinoff that combined AT&T's Warner Media division with Discovery. Zaslav is faced with basically trying to pay down that debt while competing with giants like Netflix and Disney in the costly streaming wars. So, like, when these jackwagons are mad at all these people getting cut, getting laid off, right? CEO of Discovery, Zaslav is discussed following the layoffs and cuts on HBO Max. Listen, at some point in time, you got to worry about the bottom line, people, okay? I understand that you have your favorite television shows, your favorite cartoons, and everybody, and I'm one of them. I don't like seeing anything that I love, that I enjoy watching cut. I'm the first one. But hey, he's like, hey, look, I got $3 billion in cuts to do. We don't know exactly how it's going to work. The man is trying to figure this out on the fly. I got $55 billion in debt. I'm going to try to cut, $3 billion and see where I can get it from and what I can do, right? All of these people complaining and crying in these Twitter threads. They're saying he's the most hated man in Hollywood right now. He canceled so many diverse projects that he may get in trouble for potentially violating antitrust merger laws, talking about, like, well, you got to keep some kind of you have to keep a certain level of diverse content on your platform. You can't just completely ruin it. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. There's plenty of diverse content out there in the world for people to watch. If he just completely got rid of all of it, yeah, maybe he might have some troubles, but I don't think that's going to be the case anyway. I think it's Zaslav when he sees a Cartoon Network show created by a queer person from 2010 to 2020 on HBO Max. Hill. Like, man, like these people are losing it. In case people aren't aware, Zaslav is not only a Trump supporter, but has disproportionately canceled shows by women and people of color. Yeah, again, if it's a show that's making money, I'm pretty sure that David Zaslav is like, hey, nah, you're staying with us. Come on, you here with us, okay? Yeah, but if you're not making money, he ain't just gonna keep you on. What is that, charity? Like, we $55 billion in debt, baby. We gotta get some of this stuff off the books. We gotta get this off the books. We $55 billion. How do you get $55 billion in debt? You know how you get $55 billion in debt? You start hiring out all kind of people that make all of these cartoons, that make all of these shows. You start throwing money out there just willy-nilly, and you don't bring money in, okay? And that was the problem. That's why AT&T, and you can blame AT&T for a lot of this stuff. They had no business getting into the entertainment industry whatsoever. They're a telecommunications company. They should have never been involved with WB or Warner Brothers to begin with. But nevertheless, they just throwing money. Hey, here you go. Got some more money coming at you. And everybody's getting paid and everybody's having fun except the investors and stuff like that. That's why Warner Brothers as a stock is just like, man, nobody really cares. You know, this guy's low-key throwing like, you know, saying this is about race or gender and racial diversity, while a factor would not be his, David Zaslav's, priority, he said, according to multiple people he told. Yeah, when you're $55 billion in debt, gender and racial diversity is the last thing on your mind, okay? You know what's on your mind? Hey, how am I going to get out of this red? You know, we got $55 billion in debt. You know, racial diversity is not the priority whatsoever. Gender is not the priority whatsoever. That's just the way it is. You know, if a company is sitting at $55 billion in debt and the CEO comes out and says, hey, you know, gender and racial diversity is a priority here. You know, that's the number one thing that we are focused on at this particular moment during this transitional period. We're focused on gender and racial diversity for the people that we hire. If that's what they're talking about, that's going to be a failing company. Okay, because you're not focused on the number one thing that's going to get this company up out of the red and into the black. Okay, which is making money, turning a profit, lowering your costs, increasing your revenue. That's it. This keeps happening because Discovery made the incredibly stupid decision to buy Warner Brothers while also taking on $43 billion in AT&T's debt. That debt has to be serviced, but unless it's sensationalized trash reality TV, the new CEO, David Zaslav, doesn't understand. Yeah, I mean, this part is very true. You know, I don't know why Discovery decided to do that, but they did it, you know, and they felt, hey, man, you know, this is a great asset. If we can get this thing turned around and turn this ship around, we'll be great, okay? So yeah, a lot of y'all pet projects and pet shows that y'all loved so much and cared about so dearly, they were obviously weren't making money for the company, okay? And that's why they were saddled with this $43 billion, because they were just promoting all this other kind of stuff. Like Warner Brothers had that reputation of being very, very director and creative friendly, and that's always a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's still a business. Like if you're not turning a profit, what are we doing here? You know, you got shareholders, you got stakeholders, you got investors. You have to answer to these people, okay? Like, oh, hey man, why is this show on the air? Does it do anything? How is this thing working for us? Well, you know, it was created by a person of color, and you know, we just want to make sure that we're very supportive of diverse content. Get this dude out of here, man. If it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Now, does that mean that you got to shit can everything? No, but you definitely have to start making some money. So they have to find ways to make money off of this stuff. And if this little project, I've never heard of Infinity Train, maybe it's the best thing in the entire world. And yeah, unfortunately, it's probably going to be one of the casualties of this particular merger. And that's just the way it is. You know, I'm not angry at it. I'm not laughing at it. You know, probably had a lot of fans, and I'm pretty sure those people are upset. But once again, if it doesn't make dollars, that's what this thing is about. Okay, that's what this thing is about, you know. And yeah, like this guy is right, that debt has to be serviced. So how do you service it with this? Is this thing cranking out money? Okay, is this thing bursting the bank? Is it, oh man, people can't wait to watch Infinity Train. If it's not, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sorry, it's gotta go. We can't keep pushing money into something that doesn't give us a return on our investment. It's just not smart business. At some point in time, yeah, there's points where you could do some, okay, we got some money, extra money, throw it out there. Let's see if we can have a fun show like maybe an Infinity Train that's not necessarily going to make us some money, but at least, you know, it's it's unique, and maybe eventually it'll catch an audience or something like that. Maybe that would have been the case. But, you know, the days of charity are over, you know? And if you're not making money for the company, you know, that's just the way it is. As this person says here, it says, David Zaslav is the biggest example of what's wrong with today's media corporation higher-ups. They don't care if something was praised, highly loved, or even very popular for a long time. If it's small and doesn't make an impossible amount of money, it's expendable. And again, when you go back to the debt that Warner Brothers was carrying into this particular deal with this merger, at some point in time, somebody's got to deal with that. Who's going to do it? Okay, is the company just going to sit underwater forever. No, eventually it goes bankrupt, okay? Eventually it goes bankrupt, and then everything comes crashing down. So somebody's got to come in here. They got to do the dirty work, clean up this stuff. That's what David Zaslav is doing. I don't have a problem with it because, hey, I'm a DC guy. He ain't getting rid of DC. But anyway, folks, what do you think about this situation with David Zaslav just cutting ties with all of these folks? You know, CNN just got the axe too. Brian Stelter and a couple of his staff members, they also got the old axe. David Zaslav, he just over there sharpening his axe, just like, who's next? He got that thing just sharpened up, ready to go. Who's next? I can't wait to get rid of some more of this bad debt. And, you know, hey, guy's got to do his job. So it is what it is. But go ahead, leave me your thoughts, your opinions in the comments below. And I want to thank you for watching. See you next time.